I have to ask you, what are some of your favorite tools in your toolbox as a physician to really help people to achieve higher qualities of health and life?
Well, especially if you're starting with an inflammatory process, any inflammatory process, I'm going to use, there's several peptides I use that would be beneficial. There's been some great studies that have come out. Even it's one of the better things that's happened from COVID. One of the good things that's happened from COVID is that science has moved forward so quickly.
Fast, right.
So there's lots and lots of research being done and being published, and they're being published in free journals where everyone has access to them, which is great. So the science has moved forward so quickly. We think about this vaccine that's come out, all of that. There's so much that's happened. Well, peptides have moved forward very quickly as well. Sure. And so there are several that are involved in helping to modulate, and I don't mean increase or decrease, but every cell that's affected has a unique need, and peptides can address each cell for its unique need, which is really great. I don't always start with peptides, and a lot of people I'll start with things like a high quality fish oil. There are lots of anti-inflammatory foods that you can use, and anything that's a colorful, brightly colored food is going to have those bioflavonoids that have so many additional benefits. So that are signaling molecules to your body that everything is okay, that there's an abundance of healthy food available, that it's summertime, it's good, and that they take care of your cells. So I'll start with some sort of anti-inflammatories, and I don't mean like Motrin. I mean.
Thank you actually for qualifying that, because I know there are people out there going like, what do you prefer, Tylenol, Motrin, or Advil?
Right, exactly. And those can actually be detrimental for and counterproductive for what we're trying to achieve. And in some of my patients, I'll start them by taking them off of things. That may be the first thing we do. Things like taking them off of birth control pills, taking them off of medicines like Dexilant or Pepcid that might be interfering with their absorption of important nutrients. If you're depleting the acid in your stomach, going back to the GI studies, if you're depleting the acid in your stomach, you're actually allowing the bacteria that comes in on your food to survive. And so that's sometimes where we'll get some recurrent urinary tract infections, recurrent stomach infections. I'll often see those patients are on some sort of acid blocker. So very important that you have those things in place. And then I'm always going to talk about sleep.
I'm laughing because, and I'm not sure exactly yet why Suzanne is, but when I had COVID, I was averaging 15 hours a week because it cycled the fever, the pain in my eyes, the massive headache, the tremendous fatigue, the difficulty breathing, all haunted me from 5:30 to 6 p.m. until 7 a.m. the next day, every single day for more than 4 months. And so, people said to me, how did you get COVID? You never get sick. Well, anyone becomes frail and vulnerable when they don't sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your circadian clock is involved in how your body decides to turn on all of its energy sources. And so we live in these houses without windows. I have an office that has a window, thankfully, but some of my staff have offices with no windows. We all go to offices often without windows. We're sitting in front of blue screens all day. And so we're not getting natural sunlight first thing in the morning. Your body needs to know it's morning, it's time to turn on, it's a new day. Your genes turn on, everything begins to function. If that's not happening, that's a real problem as well. If you're not falling asleep, staying asleep, 7 to 8 hours is a good range. 9 is kind of pushing the other end of the, and again, thinking about there being diminishing returns beyond a certain point. The importance of sleep also involved in that's when you make your hormones. That's when you make growth hormone or youth hormone. It's when you make testosterone. Men and women, testosterone is not just a male hormone. And so getting adequate sleep is critical. The most important part of sleeping is this is the time when your body begins to take the trash out.
Autophagy. Yes, talk about it.
So now our cells throughout the day and all the things that they do, they begin to collect lots of trash just from misfolded proteins, from doing things just not exactly perfectly. And just from the function of the day, all the things that we come in contact with. In the brain, that system, there is no trash system during the day in the brain during daylight hours. that opens up at night. And now you begin to get rid of all the trash in the brain. If you're not able to do that as well, you begin to run into trouble with things like amyloid beta plaque buildup that you may have heard of from patients who have dementia.
Yeah.
And so it's critically important that we we are able to do those things. It's also the time when your muscles recover from any trauma or injury during the day that you may have incurred, particularly if you have a pulsed electromagnetic field.
Yes, I have.